Section 1, Tennis Psychology. What was the hardest mental moment you faced in college tennis?
I think the hardest mental moment in college tennis probably doesn't even relate to tennis as much, but just like, getting there in life in general happening as an athlete, because all your life you're just training, training, training. School, it's kind of like secondary, but once you get there, school is a priority, your team is a priority, your social life also kind of becomes a priority. So really balancing all of those things, I think that was the toughest mental part. Maybe in the tennis game, it would be the first time that I was the last match on court. So like the clinching match when the meeting was 3-all and you're that last match. And I lost that match. So that was really tough mentally. But yeah, I would say that was probably the toughest part.
Following this question, what do you do the next day after losing that match?
Yeah, that's a great question because I feel like I learned so much from that match. I lost that time, but then next year I was in the same situation against, I think, maybe the same team. Yeah, I think it was the same team or a very similar team. And I was the last match on court, but this time I just approached it very differently. I didn't get scared. Like the first time I was kind of like, oh no, I'm the last match, kind of like looking around to see if maybe someone would win theirs. So I didn't want that responsibility. But then the next year came, and when that opportunity came, it was like, okay, this is my chance. Like I want this, I want to get this. So I think it was hard at first, those first few days, how you're asking here, like the next day, those first few days I was a little bit down, but then I just like learned so much from that. And I was like, this is not going to happen again.
At what moment did you realize tennis was more mental than technical?
I think that's a great question. Thank you. Because younger learning, I remember all of my coaches were always like, play pretty, think, I don't know, Roger Federer, or just like play very pretty. But I think more in college, I realized there's so many people that have very different styles of playing, and sometimes it doesn't even look technically correct, but it works. And I just realized that we all have two arms, we all have two legs. We're just gonna hit the ball like for good forehand, good backhand. So at that point where the skill is just like kind of like a requirement, then like the mental part's what does all the tricks. I think that's what puts you in an advantage.
But do you remember what age or kind of average that it switched?
Let's say, you know what? Actually, I know exactly when. This was, I think, when I was about 14 years old. So this was the first time that I went outside of Colombia and kind of like South America to play tournaments, and I went to Europe.
Oh, wow.
And wow, that was just like getting like a taste of the real thing. It was
Getting
like,
real.
wow. Yeah, I think before I could hit so hard and that would be enough for me to, do well at 14 years old here. But then I went to Europe and all of these girls were just competing, like just amazing. And it was like an eye-opening for me, like, oh, wow, like there's a lot more that I need to work on.
When pressure was high, what worked better for you, motivation or routines?
When pressure, I think in tough pressure moments, no, the routines, just like working really hard and being in matches that I felt very pressure or something. Remember going back to my practice and remembering like, no, I've practiced my forehand 1,000 times. I practiced my backhand so many times, my serve. So I think that's where I could find the confidence in the work that I put in before.
What was your reset between points when you felt tired or frustrated?
Oof, I think nobody wants to feel tight on the tennis court. The court just starts becoming this size. It becomes so small. But honestly, in those moments, just taking time in between points. I think I would usually just start playing really fast, and then you don't even have time to think, so the tiredness will get worse. So I think just like stopping a little bit, making sure you're using those 20 seconds you have in between points. And honestly, just like everyone will have something very personal that works for them. I think for me was taking that time and really breathing, like maybe box breathing or any breathing exercise that you know.
What's the most junior misunderstand about confidence?
I think what juniors misunderstand about confidence is that honestly, it's a little bit of a mindset, but I feel like in my junior years, a lot of the times I would go into the day with a lot of uncertainty. So I would be like, oh, I hope today I play well. I hope today my forehand is on fire. I hope my serve. And so you would go into the match like hoping that something was going to be amazing. But I think that I changed that mindset as I got older. Honestly, in college, I just started telling myself, hey, today's going to be a great day. Rather than just like waiting and being like, oh, I hope my forehand is good. Or, no, I was like, no, I'm going to make it good. I'm not going to wait for magic to happen. I'm just going to go out there and my forehand is going to be amazing. My serve is going to be amazing. So telling those things to yourself.
I didn't put this question. I'm going to add it because, in base of your response. Do you think this misleading is because of the coaching or because of the player didn't being guided properly? This lack of confidence or misunderstanding.
I think that your team around you can help you identify this earlier on. So I think that your team definitely can help, bring in that confidence and stuff. But I think it's honestly part of maturing a little bit and understanding like, hey, nobody's gonna come and save me. Like I have to go and do this for myself. I have to go and just like have this confidence that it's gonna happen. Just tell yourself, yes, today is gonna be great. My forehand is gonna be great. My first serve is gonna go in. So just telling yourself all of these things.
You have to go through the path. You have
Yeah.
to actually like learn it and battle it.
Yeah.
All right. Second section, that is development. If you could go back to the age of 12 to 14, what would you focus on earlier?
Great question. I think honestly, if I go back to, Sofia, 14 years old, in my tennis career, I think I would have loved to have a little bit maybe more guidance on the tournament schedule. I think that's very important. Like knowing and understanding what tournaments will benefit you the most, depending on where you want to go, where is your goal. So I think I would have loved to just do that better, like the planning. But in terms of practicing, I think I was practicing like 7 hours a day. I wouldn't say more practice. Definitely maybe more fitness, paying a little bit more attention to the fitness, and the mental part is so important. I think having like a sports psychologist or someone that can help you with that, it's very important.
So I'm gonna name it because you say 3 important keys. I will the mental part, the fitness part, and the schedule and timing to do not waste time. Wow, I didn't get that one. That was really good. What is one thing that juniors should stop doing immediately if they want to reach to college tennis?
Junior tennis, I think just don't leave school so much to the side. I think it's very important that you still work on your education, and not even, yes, because you need it, but also this gives you maturity and this helps you in other ways that maybe you don't understand. Like it will give you discipline, it will help you with your time management. So it's just like all of these skills that you will need in college later on. I think from the tennis part, yeah, just like making sure you're not completely leaving your school part to the side.
Yeah, I agree on that. Mostly in the part that you need to grow also as an individual. So
Exactly.
smarter you get, better you get on the court.
Absolutely.
What's the most overrated thing in junior tennis?
I think the most overrated thing in junior tennis. Oof. I don't think that you have to go to every single tournament, and this goes back to what I said earlier. I played way too many grade 5s and all of those tournaments, which is fine. But once you get the points, you have to start aiming for the bigger tournaments.
Move to the next one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the most underrated skill that actually wins matches later?
Hmm. Well, as I said, the mental part, attitude, just being willing to fight, not give up. That's what's gonna win most of the matches. But on the skill part, I would say just making sure you learn every tool, making sure you can have slices, go to the net, just like being ready for everything, having all different kinds of resources in your game.
Understood. And we're gonna talk now to the section 3, parenting. Is what I focus a lot the most. What did you parents do that helped you the most during your journey?
Mm. What my parents did that helped me the most, they were just always very supportive. And I'm actually very grateful that they were a little bit strict with me in my, those first few years, like 12, 13, 14, until like I went to college. They were a little strict in the sense that maybe if I was like, oh, I don't want to practice, they'll be like, no, you have to go. They wouldn't be necessarily mean, but strict. And I think I'm very grateful that that kept me always on the path,
Um,
because so many times I said, oh, no, I don't want to play tennis anymore. I want to retire. And they were like, no, you're not going to retire. You're going to keep going. So I'm very grateful for that, that maybe in the moment it felt like they were being strict. They wouldn't let me do other things. But looking back now, I'm very, very grateful. So I think that, and also that, um, I would say around when I was like 13, my mom, especially, she would go to every match, but then sometimes she would get mad at me. Maybe if I lost, not necessarily because of the loss, usually because of bad attitude or, something that she didn't like. But I had a conversation with them one time and I was like, hey, I don't want you to see me ever again on the tennis court. And that was really mean, but it wasn't like that. It was more like, hey, I don't like that when I lose, I feel all of those things. And they gave me a lot of space. Honestly, I started traveling now with coaches, and I started also just like starting training in other countries. So I think that they took a step back, still supportive, still motivating me, but they just like gave me the space. And I think that was really nice for me.
I totally agree. I know your brother. Like I don't know the another brother, but I can see in between both. The values, the how well are you as an individual, and in a lot of skills. And I know I give it a lot of credit to your parents because these are really, I mean, tough warriors both. Like that's what is on the back, on the background that nobody sees, and I think that's the parents.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it's a lot of work there. Sometimes people don't understand how much, and there is not a book to be a mom or a dad. They kind of figure out on their, you say, like you mentioned, they give me a lot of space, but nobody tell them. But they know what is the best for you, and they keep grinding. No matter what are like the circumstances, how much cost to go to reach the goal. What the biggest mistake you see parents make in competitive tennis?
I think in competitive tennis, a lot of parents are way too involved, and it's okay, but there's no need in a tournament for it to be a fight between parents. What are those things happening? So I think that a lot of parents want to be very, very, very involved, being there almost like the coach. And I think that's the mistake where maybe they don't let the coach do the whole work. A lot of parents, they're in competitive tennis and they feel like they need to micromanage everything. If the kids are practicing, they want to be there and seeing, no, don't do that, do this. So I think that they need to like trust a little bit the coach and let the coach do the work.
I love you say that because you are an all-American player. You play top of the line with these players, and hearing from you will be different from hearing from me as a coach and as a mentor or as a figure of guidance. But sometimes even I'm not like I give you the truth, they don't take it. Maybe it's better if they taking someone from like you that you.
Yeah.
What do parents worry about too earlier?
I think that just too earlier about maybe sending the kids to play pro tournaments. I mean, of course, if they're just insanely good, go play pro. But when you're 13, 14, 15, like there's no need to, you can play the pro tournaments, but there's no like a pressure, like they're running out of time, like go now. I think that would be it.
Doubles and tennis. Um, what did double teach you that singles never could?
Doubles is so fun, honestly. I think that what I've learned the most about doubles, well, first of all, you have to be a good person, you know, you have to have good chemistry with your partner, but also just like being a good person, it teaches you to be patient, to a little nicer to your partner. But also, I think that your volley game, I think I've always been a player that my volleys have always been nice, decent, but in singles, I would never go to the net just to shake hands. Hey, good job, good playing. I would never go to the net, although my volleys were good. And I think that just like playing more doubles and getting more experience on the court just gave me the confidence to do that in singles. And honestly, it's a game changer. Doubles is so important for singles, but just also for life, I think.
This, this is related to the question before. How did doubles improve your single game?
Yeah, I think my net game also it just gives you a better reaction. I think that it helps you to read the play way better. I feel like in doubles when I'm at the net, I'm always watching the player that's hitting, and based on their feet, I can tell, okay, they're gonna hit a little behind or they're gonna go for it. So it helps you to read the court way better.
What a really good point you mentioned. That's key. If a junior wants better decision making, should they play more doubles?
Yes, I think that doubles is great for decision making, especially because in doubles, a lot of the times you already have the play ready, you know, with your partner. It's like, okay, we're going to serve this and we're going to do that. So it doesn't only help you with your decision making, but like the confidence, like you always have a plan and you know what you're doing. So it's almost more organized. In singles, it's more like, okay, I'll serve and you just play the point however it plays out. In doubles, you have the chance of being like, with your partner, okay, go tee and I'll poach and then we'll go from there. So I think that helps you also in singles and just in general with decision making.
All right, the last section. What lesson did tennis teach you that applies to life? That's my stoic part.
I think in the tennis, wow, tennis, honestly, it's such a great sport and it has taught me so much. I think I am the person I am today because of tennis. But the biggest lesson, well, one, as I mentioned before, and I think this applies to life too, is that sometimes I would go with uncertainty into the day, like, oh, I hope this is great, I hope my forehand, but just having like more confidence and being like, no, I'm gonna make today great. I'm gonna be in charge of making something happen. So like I'm not gonna wait for anybody to come and save me. I'm gonna go and do it myself. I think that part with your confidence, and honestly, for you to be a great tennis player and great athlete in general, you have to believe in yourself. You have to be a little bit delusional, and because if you don't believe in yourself, really nobody will. So just really believing in yourself. But also the second thing that it has taught me in this lesson, I try to apply it every day in my life, is just being very present in the moment. I feel like a lot of the times I would always be in my head. I could be here right now with you, but thinking, oh no, okay, what am I gonna get for my parents for their birthday? Oh, my assignment tomorrow. Oh, I have to do this. So even though I can be here, maybe you're not fully here. And with tennis, you can't do that. You know, when you're playing points, if you're thinking about something else, the ball passes. So you have to be extremely present. And I try to apply that into every day of my daily life.
If you could give me one message to you, youth, young players chasing college tennis, what would it be?
Go for it. It's an amazing experience. And I feel like when you're young, it feels like you're sacrificing a lot of things. It feels like you are missing out on so many things, but you're not missing out on anything. Like, it's okay if you don't go to your friend's birthday party. It's okay if you don't do things now, because you're going to be so grateful later. And honestly, the college experience is super fun. And being an athlete, it's people respect you for that. And I feel like being an athlete not only shows that you're an amazing tennis player, but it says so many things about you. It says that your work ethic, it's great. It says that you're very disciplined. It also says that you're someone that like has ambition and wants to move forward. So go for it. It's my advice.
My last question, I know during your career you train and compete alongside Eva Navarro in UVA, and I want to ask you what stood out about her. What do you?
Yeah, Emma has always been such an amazing player, and I think we all learned so much from her. It was amazing to have her in our team. I think what stood out the most from her is that she could be she could be a clown outside of the court, but then once she got inside of the court, it was like full respect for the court, and just like her work ethic, unbelievable. And honestly, she would never complain about anything, no big or small complaint. And I think that's what stood out the most about her. And I see why she's doing so great. I had no doubt.
This coming from the beginning, or it coming in the process in college to become like a good college player? She came like that at college like that, so it was.
Yeah. She came like this. It was from the beginning, and I'd say that's why it even stood out more to me, because I think I was a junior in college, a third year at UVA, and she was just the freshman, and she was already with this mindset, and she won the national tournament, the national championship her first year, which is no surprise, because her work ethic, it was just unbelievable, honestly. And always, since I've met her, always just like work extremely hard, never complains about anything.
What was the perception on the other players with her attitude? So coming a player that is very disciplined and very focused, I want to ask you, what is the perception on other players on the team? It will rise up the bar.
Yeah, of course. And I think that also at UVA and with our coaches, that program is, everyone works hard, because everyone is very good,
One of the best in the country, yeah.
Yeah, some of the best in the country. So everything from the coaches was always like, we just all had so much respect for, the fitness, the training. So I think that also came from the coaches, like the culture of the team. But also with Emma, having her on our team, I think definitely raised the bar for everyone to try to be at the same level, for sure.
Amazing, Sophie. This was an amazing interview and opportunity talking with you. You made an insane career. I'm very grateful, to give me your time again to listen to this question. I think they will help a lot of people.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Ivo.